Okay, keep your fingers crossed. Fresh off the plane, and I'm running off the phone internet here. We got back home, so just walked in the door literally 15 minutes ago after coming up from Cape Town, and Lutz picked me up from Nantes, so that's cool. So he's gone, and I said, I think I can do this, but I'm just watching the internet speed drop back, so I'll keep my fingers crossed. Can't tell you what's going on in Cape Town right now, but certainly the kind of interesting with the fleet and doing exactly what I thought would happen, a slight compression because they've run out of wind up the front. So let's go straight to it and see, try and see what's happening. Now, I haven't had a look at this at all. I literally just turned it on, and now we're going to see what's going. But you can see quite clearly, looking at the pack, they've got the effect of this little system right here. A little low pressure system, a little bit confusing, blah, blah, blah. But the front boats look as if they're slowing down a bit. Middle boats might have a bit of breeze. They've running off to the northeast, which is interesting, and then boats dipping everywhere. So we'll put the grids in so we can see what's going on, and we'll look at currents and all the rest of it. But we'll start with Sterner. It's got headwinds, light headwinds here. You can see it coming up from the southeast. So they've decided to go around the corner, and Port Elizabeth has the company of Neptune right now. And it's an interesting story in itself, which I'll explain a bit more. We'll just come back to Sterner here, doing 6 knots, managed 43 miles in the day because they're sailing away from the course. And they've got their reasons for being there. It might be partly with current as well. They would have plotted that. So let's just see where the currents are. They could be out of it there. They've got a head current as well. That's not helping them coming up through here. Missed the main stretch. So that's just purely the weather forcing them out. So not a lot to see there. The situation with Neptune is that they're trying to, I believe, maintain their integrity in terms of not having any outside assistance. So we'll see how this pans out, but they're actually in the port. The anchorage there wasn't enough to do any of the work on the boat. They decided to come alongside the marina, so they're alongside the marina, but apparently at this stage we have no indication that they intend to seek any assistance. They're just looking for a stable boat. Now, if that's how it pans out, there will still be a penalty associated with that, because they've had to go into the port and they've had to moor alongside, which is subject to a possible penalty. If they then decide to get outside assistance, well, that'll knock them out of the second leg. But at the moment, I believe that's not the case. So we'll keep you tabbed on that. Their team is talking to them, I believe, somehow, because they can't open their bags if they're not, their communication bag to use all their phones and so on, if they're not intending to have outside assistance. Otherwise, that'd be a penalty as well. So maybe their team is talking to someone locally and they're going down and holding their phone up and so on. So they can do all of that. But we'll see what the story is, and hopefully they'll get underway as soon as they can and get back in the hunt for Auckland. So then coming back down to the main game, you got Penjuic streaming away, 4.3 knots, but not fast, but they're still way out in front. And they look like they've got a light headwind, so which would explain the speed. The others, I'll push this up a bit. Spirit of Helsinki and Translated still side by side, probably looking at each other, 3.5 knots. They're probably going to windward in light conditions, and Spirit of Helsinki 2.6 knots, so very light to windward. And Maiden might be, no, they're doing better. So this forecast is for 4 o'clock UTC, so 4, 5, 6. That's 6 o'clock, and it's now 7 here. So it's an hour or so old, and it's really hard to predict where the actual centres here with no wind and so on might lay. This is only a graphic, and it's sort of an indication of what's going on, not the real weather. If we go back to the speed equipped, 7.6 knots, and heading in the right direction, 187 mile day. So if that's the case, these guys that are pretty much parked now are still showing 185 mile day. And for Translated, 185 as well. So they've been moving, but now they've slowed right down. And 200 mile day for Penjuic. So that's kind of interesting. This is surprising here that these guys have paid off so radically. 9.5 knots heading up to the northeast like that makes me think there's a bit more breeze there than it's showing. I don't know why you'd be, I'd be, unless they know something I don't, I'd be intending to still keep holding it and coming down here. And they've all done it. They've all, like clockwork, they're all paying off to the northeast rather. Triana's doing 8.9 knots. Maybe they know I'm not sure why. So, but interesting, 178 miles for Triana, still holding 6 in line on us, third in IRC. Outlaw doing 9.5 knots, really flying. 174-mile day. Galliana with secure, 188 miles, 8.4 knots. Galliana's the one doing what I do, but if you see this no wind situation there, you wonder why. But the course is this way, and these guys it's very interesting. I've got no answers on that. So White Shadow, same again. 6.5 knots, 150-mile day, looks kind of fun. So let's see. I'll cut it back a bit to see what the weather is going to do over the next 24 hours. And maybe they've got a forecast, and maybe that's what they're responding to. So just clicking it forward every hour, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours. Not a lot happening there of any surprise. But when I say that, nothing that would make me think, why were these guys going out northeast? At least the breeze is coming back. So within 6 hours, all the fleet's going to have a reasonable sort of a breeze there and keep sailing at speed. And I think you can see here straight away, Galliana's, if this is the course, Galliana's now moving not in front of Outlaw yet, but it is, they're gaining quite nicely down there. So there's 6 hours anyway. Go through another 6 hours, 3, 4, 5, 6 following breezes. By that stage, they'll be moving along, still in the roaring 40s. This is the 40th parallel of latitude. So that looks quite respectable. And there's some lighter winds coming up behind. So this is now into a couple of days ahead. So we're now into the 11th. So it's 9. Yeah. No, hang on a sec. What am I doing here? 9, 10, 11. Yeah, so that's a couple of days ahead. So there's no surprises, no big winds. There comes a puff, but by then most of them will be across here. That's probably got 35 knots, gusting 40 knots in this area here. But they'll at that stage, at this time, in a couple of days, they'll be all down around here somewhere. And then if we look at the real big picture to see if there's anything coming up the back, no, it's all pretty benign. So still, nice sailing. They're all enjoying themselves for sure. This is just classic Southern Ocean. Getting down there, you'll see them follow the run line all the way down here. Pretty much follow that as expected, and they're getting a nice ride. It's always good to do that when you head out to the Southern Ocean for the first time, just to get a chance to settle in, and it demystifies the whole thing once everything's moving slowly and steadily. So a bit of a mixed bag. They're still together as a group. I'm running out of things to tell you. We could look at the leaderboard, but it's because it's so all over the place. It's still a long way to go. Penduic, this is online on us. Penduic is coming first. Distance sailed 887. Spirit of Helsinki, distance sailed 862. This is from the start. Translated 835. And so it goes. Then Maiden, and it just goes down the list. Just remember when you're doing this, this little area up the top here, line on us, or then you go to IRC, and IRC gives you your handicap ratings and so on. Interestingly, there's a time for the estimated finishing time, okay? And it's showing for translated, they've been managing 7.9 knots in the last 24 hours. So they're first on handicap again on IRC, and this is from the start, with a finished ETA about 13th of December. If they can maintain 7.9 knots, they've basically been going quite fast since the start. So that's pretty cool. Penduic, this is IRC rating, still showing 11th of December. Again, average speed, VMG, of 8.4 knots. So everyone's making good average speeds, and it's showing sort of mid-December all the way down. Anyway, I won't. So it's just a long line. Translated, Penduic, Triana, Spirit of Helsinki, Maiden, L'Esprit de Keep, and Galliana with secure, Outlaw, Evrika. That's the rankings going through, and they're all showing sometime in December. Neptune showing not so good because they're not on the track. So all interesting. Again, we'll just have a look at the currents here before we sign off, see how the current is affecting them. What have we got here? Yeah, there's a bit of interplay. Look, Gariana's got it right, and I reckon, I may be wrong, but I wouldn't be surprised if Galiana knows exactly where that is, and that's why they're down there, because this wouldn't have moved in the last week, that's 10 days, and he's hopped into that. Perfect timing. And if you see him go down here as a distance, okay, Galiana could stay in that flow for about 160 miles. And if he's sailing at sort of 7 knots, that's about 20 hours or so. If you're saying 7 knots, 20 hours, and that's going at about up to 3 knots there. 20 hours at 3 knots would give him 60 miles. Could give him a 60-mile lift there, compared to the others that are fluffing around up here. So, and Maiden coming down here, they're going to get a push sideways in a minute. No real advantage, but Tapio, he could get a good lift there. That's about all. Let's see. Well, just while we're here, we'll go down and have a look at the clouds, see if they know where they are. A few clouds, a few fluffies. Galiana's in with the southwesterly, so that's fine. That's what I was always saying. You can see here, as soon as you got northwesterly, there's the wind coming down there. It's always cloudy and overcast as it builds. And as soon as it goes southwest, you get the light fluffies with the big squalls in there where the breeze comes up another 15 degrees. So this is all clear blue sky. And it's from the southwest, and this is northwesterly, preceding a front, and it's overcast, raining, dull, boring, Southern Ocean stuff. So that's holding true to form. Temperature-wise, it'll be starting to get cool. Well, it's not too bad, actually. Just come down the scale. So that'll be sort of 16 degrees, 16 to 20 degrees. So not getting too cold yet. That's impressive. Sometimes it can start to get cold real quick, but that's looking ordinary. So all in all, I think they're having great sailing in the Southern Ocean, and we'll just come back here now and transfer. I've got to get onto that one, and we'll see if there's any comments here. What do we got? Okay, so back again. We got 81 people. Jeez, I was on time. Anyway, Kaylee, good evening, Don. Hope you're doing good. Yep, I'm happy to get to sleep tonight. Although I did have 3 seats from Cape Town to Amsterdam. That was kind of nice. So have Neptune now been disqualified from Leg 2? No, not at all. I was explaining that. They fully intend to not seek outside assistance, but they have decided they needed to go into the marina and tie up alongside so they could stabilize the boat so they could get the work done. That's the feedback I got from Lutz. They're in close touch with Lutz, or their team is. So as I say, they'll be trying to maintain their independence and just seeking stable anchorage. But that in itself will now have a potential time penalty, but they are not being out of the rankings for Leg 2 so far. So we'll keep you updated on that. Hi, Virgo. What's going on? Yep, there's always something happening. And is Tapio near Asteria? No, not yet. In fact, I forget. It's a good point. No, he's still some time from that. I think it might be south. I'll have a look at that tomorrow night. Anyway, looks like the internet might still be going. So that's all I've got for you now. We'll see you again tomorrow night, same time, same place. Thanks for that. We'll see you later.